next speech is to inform or instruct. Speech title, How to Write a Speech in an Hour. It's 10 to 15 minutes. The Better Speaker Series, Organizing Your Speech. It's from that manual. The Better Speaker Series dives deep into the nitty-gritty of speech development techniques. Organization is vital to being an effective speaker and getting your message across. Organizing your speech may seem daunting sometimes, but our next speaker has given over 50 speeches and over the time has learned that it only takes an hour to write a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Matthew Sherwood.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I built that app, the Accident app. Not lying, I built that app. It's kind of funny to come and listen to a whole speech about something that you made.
Wow.
But first I want to hear from everybody. Who here wants to learn how to write a speech in an hour? Yeah? All right? You guys are into it? Okay, good. I'm going to teach you how. But first I want to find out, how much time are you spending developing your speeches? David, on average, how long does it take?
Maybe about a day.
Okay. So maybe 4, 6, 8 hours?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Vivian, how long did it take you to make your last speech?
Days. I think I read something 5 hours for each minute of your speech.
Okay.
Days.
Enno, how long did it take to make, on average, how long does it take you to write a speech? Not a contest speech. 30 minutes. Interesting. Cole, how long did it take you to write that speech?
What I do, I come up with the idea, and then through the week, I let the ideas populate my head, and then the day of the event, I just write down what's in my head. So less than an hour.
Less than an hour. Okay, there you have it. You see that some people can do it really quickly, and some people it takes a lot longer. I'm a perfectionist. It takes me a long time. However, this method is proven, and you can do it too. So let's talk about it. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the method. It involves writing and an outline, and then we're going to write a speech together. We're going to do it, all of us, together. And then I want to have a discussion. I want to hear from you guys what's most daunting about writing speeches, and the hope is that we can get to the bottom of this and we can get more speeches in this club. Okay? That's my ultimate goal. But let's start at the top. Every speech, almost every speech is structured the same way. There's 3 components. What are they?
Introduction.
Okay? Intro.
Body.
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 Absolutely. Yep.
And the conclusion.
And the conclusion. All right, we have, okay. Little contraction. So you've got your intro, body, and conclusion. Your intro, you're going to tell them what you're about to tell them. Your body, tell them. And your conclusion, tell them what you just told them. It's kind of a mouthful. Tell them what you're about to tell them. Tell them what you just told them. That's the basic formula for almost every single speech. Now, where would you think to start your speech? If you were to develop a speech, where would you start? Would you start on the intro? Most people? Start at the beginning? No. I am going to encourage you to start in the middle. And here's how this is going to work. You first have to have a topic, right? You've got to figure out your topic. But I don't want you to get caught up in the intro and the conclusion. That will come later. But you pick a general topic, and then you have to figure out what your purpose is. So maybe a general topic would be technology, and my purpose is to inform the audience about solar roadways. Maybe that could be the purpose of your speech. But really, now that you've got the idea, I really want you to start in the middle. And if you've noticed, 3 is the magic number in Toastmasters. 3 is the magic number in a lot of areas of life. But in Toastmasters especially, we've got 3 sections of a speech, and typically, the body of your speech is divided into 3 sections. Studies have shown that audiences relate to the number 3. If you try to give them 4 or 5, you can have a successful speech. But studies have shown that 3 is the magic number. So let's just use that as our example. The secret to writing a speech in an hour, is not to write the entire thing. I don't want anyone writing their speech out completely. I did that for a long time. I did it for my first couple speeches in Toastmasters. In my second speech, well, the first speech, memorized it, delivered it beautifully. Second speech, I stood up there and I thought, what is the next word of the next sentence? And it took about 30 to 40 seconds for me to remember. I'm really good at memorization, but there's something that happens up here on stage. Your brain does funny things. And it doesn't matter how much you have that memorized, the littlest thing can throw you off. If you change one word of that sentence, all of a sudden things are different. Or if somebody in the audience mentions something, or there's some type of interaction, more laughs than you're used to, you could lose your place. So I think a lot of people get caught up in wanting to get everything so perfect, but we need to get away from that. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to make an outline for your 3 body points, just a very concise outline, point 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to write out completely your intro and your conclusion. Write them out word for word and memorize them. Those are the most important parts of your speech. 6 months from now, the audience will not remember what you said in the second body point of your speech. They won't. But if you captured their attention in the intro, and you've left them with a memorable summary and a call to action, then you have done your job, and your speech message has gotten across. But let's talk about this a little more. Just in terms of the time, your intro and conclusion should be succinct, about 30 seconds. 2 or 3 sentences, and they should be very memorable, very impactful. Your introduction, you want to get people involved immediately. You want to bring them in. So saying something very intriguing or provocative or clever or exciting or entertaining or dynamic, asking a question, asking a rhetorical question. Get people involved from the beginning, get them invested to hear what you're going to say. And make it impactful, make it big, make it stand out. And for your conclusion, same thing. Same thing. You want to leave them with something memorable and something dynamic. Summarize what your speech, tell them what you just told them, and give them a call to action to go out and be better. You learned this in my speech, now go and do this. That's how your speeches are going to get remembered. The body of your speech, don't waste all your time on that. Don't waste your time. The point of your speech is to get a message across. It's done in your intro and your conclusion. For your body, 3 topics, each about 1 to 2 minutes. Topics, about 1 to 2 minutes? Table topics. David, how long is table topics?
About 20 minutes. Oh,
Each person?
Each answers
1 to 2 minutes. Treat each of your body points like a tabletop. If you pick a subject that you know you're an expert on, you're passionate about, you should be able to speak for 1 or 2 minutes. I saw about 10 people do it a little bit ago. They got a simple topic, a simple question, and they elaborated for 1 to 2 minutes in a mini speech. So if you go 30 seconds intro, 1 to 2 minutes each, and then a 30-second conclusion, that is your 5 to 7 minute speech right there. And you haven't spent a lot of time. Yes, write these out. And do some research, of course. But if you don't get locked into getting so caught up in what every body point says exactly, you can do this rather quickly. And we want you guys to get up here on stage. The more stage time you get, the better you'll be off. If you leave a lot of time in between speeches, you lose the flow. Public speaking is a use it or lose it type of thing. Vivian, between your 8th and your 9th speech was quite a bit of time. How did you feel when you got on stage after that, this first speech back?
I felt rusty and more nervous.
Right. My recommendation is everyone in here should be speaking once a month. Once a month. If you can write a speech in an hour, you can get up here once a month or more. And Toastmasters is the place to make mistakes. It is. I would rather see you use this 1 hour speech writing method and get up here on stage than do an amazingly professional and polished and wordsmith every single word. Yeah, for a contest, do that. But Toastmasters is a workshop and we want people to give speeches. And right now this club is not giving speeches. All right? We're going to get back to that. We're going to talk about that. But let's write a speech together. How's that? Let's construct a speech. So I talked a little bit earlier about, first thing is we need a topic. So let's come up with a topic. Anybody? Broad? Real broad?
Barking dogs.
Dogs. Let's get, come on, throw them out.
Cars.
Cars. Leo, you had something earlier?
Memories.
Memories.
Healthy eating,
Love.
healthy eating.
All right, well, Leo chose, absolutely, and those are all great topics, but Leo chose something earlier that I want to touch on. And I think love is a universal topic. You want to pick a topic that's relevant for your audience. So let's pick the general topic of love. And then Leo mentioned something about being up at the altar and feeling regret. Okay? That actually reminded me of something, a speech that I wanted to give at one point about breakups. So breakups, I think it'd be really valuable. I think a lot of people are really bad at breakups. So you could give a speech on the most elegant way to deliver a breakup, right? That could be a topic? All right. I'm going to end up cutting this short a little bit because I want to get to the discussion. But what are some things that have to do with breakups? How would you go about it? You'd want to figure out the best way to deliver that message.
Send a text message.
Use text, right? Hey, if you've only been dating for a month, a text message might be appropriate. So maybe the first point is the delivery. I strongly encourage you to practice and rehearse because those. And then figure out your exit strategy. Because this is important. This is important because what if you probably have a ton of their stuff, they have your stuff. Maybe you go over there with someone's truck so you get your big stuff or whatever. You don't want to be caught up in a bad situation. They could go postal. So you want to make sure that So anyway, everyone's been in relationships. I bet everyone in here has been dumped. Right? Now, let's talk about what's a really cool intro. How many times you guys been dumped? Right? That could be an interesting intro. We've all been dumped. Maybe you could tell a story of a friend that got dumped in a really crappy way. Maybe you make something up. Holy what? Yes! Make something up. Maybe you could talk about some guy who dumped his girlfriend on Valentine's Day, sent her a card, whatever. I could go on and on about this, but try to capture their attention. And then in your conclusion, you want to develop something catchy. And it could fit with your theme, but come up with something catchy like, the breakups don't have to be a big shakeup if you, delivery and practice or whatever. But come up with something that's catchy and memorable. Maybe if you tell a story in the beginning of your conclusion, give that person a name. Oh, so we've got Breakup Bruno. Okay, and now all of a sudden everyone starts thinking about Breakup Bruno. So my point is, try to come up with something that's very memorable. Okay? Everyone can talk about these because you all have experiences. All right? Okay, now, I want to shift. We've got a couple minutes left, and I wanted to talk and find out from people, what is the most daunting thing about giving a speech? Please be concise in about 10 seconds. Who's up? Most daunting thing. What do you
I would
think?
say the body, the information, the body, not getting
Okay.
caught up in the body.
Sure. Okay.
I would say having concern of whether people like it or not.
Sure. Wanting it to be successful. Yeah, Celeste?
Breathing properly.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're nervous.
Oh, yeah. And those things, I think, come with repetition every time you come up here. But certainly, Wynn, you have something to say?
Yeah, like I would say supporting example too.
Supporting examples. Okay. And I did want to mention, an effective speech uses supporting material. I don't think you should just come in without any preparation. You should think about things you want to say, maybe there's some quotes or statistics or stories. Making it personal is always effective. So I don't want to discount the work that's involved in an amazing speech. However, I do want people to try and get faster at developing their speeches. But okay, so You said the body, coming up with supporting examples.
Yeah, getting data, getting information that documents, supports what you're trying to say, because
Yep.
otherwise it's just generalizations and, you know, and I don't think it's as valuable.
For sure. Absolutely.
And that's the part where, for myself, I can get caught up in thinking I have to memorize that
Yeah.
information. And, you know, if it's a topic I'm not familiar with and I'm trying to present it, it becomes, you know, more daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I know this isn't a solution to this, but you always want to pick a topic that you are an expert on. Pick a topic that you are passionate about, something that excites you, that you have a ton of knowledge in,
Right.
and that will help.
Yeah.
That will definitely help. Anyone else? What's preventing you from coming up and giving speeches? Vishal.
I thought it would take forever to write, so if I can do it in an hour. I have
Right.
a toddler at home and I'm launching 2 businesses. It's like, if I can do this in an hour, all right, you know what, I may be speaking soon.
Toastmasters is a workshop. This is the place to make mistakes. This is the place to get up on stage as much as possible and get that stage time. It's all about repetition. The more times you get up here, all of a sudden, those nerves start to go away. And then you can really dial into your message and be effective. But I want everybody to consider coming up here as much as possible. Okay? In conclusion, it doesn't take a long time to give a speech. Just follow the outline, write out your intro, put body points, and just use an outline for those. Write out your conclusion, get more stage time, get up here, and you will be better for it. Mr. Toastmaster.